Hey, welcome back to this week's market report for the week of September 23rd. Let's get into it. Market alerts, a lot to talk about this week. So I'm sure everybody's heard there was a Hurricane Florence here in North and South Carolina, and it's taken its toll. We have still yet to see exactly what all the ramifications are of the hurricane, but it's pretty bad. So we also have other alerts from around the country, oranges and lemons. We'll talk a little bit about chicken when we get to that section, corn, jumbo asparagus, mushrooms, and actually all sorts of cucumbers. We'll talk a little bit more about what's going on when we get in those sections. So poultry news. There are a lot of chickens grown here in North Carolina. And so we were given notice, of course, that the hurricane was coming. So a lot of the chickens we were able to get to higher ground. According to Steve Troxler, who is head of agriculture, the agriculture commissioner in North Carolina, he said that the damages for chicken look like they're in like 3.5 million so far, chickens that were lost during the hurricane, and lots of damage to the buildings where these chickens were housed, even if they weren't there. So we got a lot of repair to do as far as the poultry goes. Fortunately, there's still a lot of chicken in the market. They're pulling from other locations, but still haven't seen much impact, but lots of, like I said, millions of chickens and turkeys have been lost due to the hurricane. So we'll probably see in the next week or so how much that's actually going to affect pricing. So beef market, interestingly enough, they also say that due to the hurricane, truckers were not willing to come into the East Coast, so they weren't trucking as much in, and the overall demand for beef this week was slow. So not much to talk about here, but probably the next few weeks we're going to see some moves on beef. But right now, pretty flat market. In the dairy market, overall block and barrel market's down. Eggs have remained steady. Butter's up, so we've got some flooding out in Wisconsin, where a lot of the butter's coming from. So supplies are limited due to that. So this could just be a temporary thing. So, but look for butter to be up a little bit right now. So produce, we got lots of things going on with produce. Again, North Carolina is a huge agricultural state. We don't know yet what is going to be like for the sweet potatoes and some of the other crops that we have not actually had a chance to look at and to see how wet the land is and how long it's going to be wet and what's going to be the ramifications of that. But certainly other vegetables that come out of North Carolina, there's been a lot of damage to corn. Lemons and oranges are not out of North Carolina, but we're still seeing a really tight market on that, and people are demanding it. So one of the other things we've got going on with produce is there's growing seasons. We'll talk a little bit more about that in growing areas, even in California. Excuse me. There are different areas. So once the lettuce fields, for instance, like the iceberg lettuce fields, are all picked in one area, if the other area is not quite ready or in full harvest, then you'll see some price increases there due to supply and demand. But usually that's short-lived, 3 weeks, and you shouldn't see any humongous spikes. But that's the case here with iceberg lettuce, with green onions, and with cucumbers. Still seeing some issues with jumbo asparagus, supply being real tight on that. In other commodities, overall, again, the commodity market's flat or down. The soybean supply is looking abundant this year for the crop, so we should see some downward turns for soybean oil. Overall, as I said, the soybean and the commodity market is down, but there is more talk about the tariffs, so we'll see if that's going to make a larger supply, which means lower prices here in the States, or it's going to put pressure on and make them raise the prices so they can make more money on what they have. So we'll stay posted with that and see what happens. Once again, thanks for watching this week's market report. And don't forget to check us out and sign up at www.helpknx.com. It's completely free. Jump on, let us help connect you. And thanks for watching. Talk to you next week.